सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चिता मतिः। Yes.
So we are seeing the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, and in that we are in the third, that is samadhi shatka sampatti, and in that how samadhi shatka sampatti are interdependent upon each other, and how they grow upon on each other is described by Tippanikara.
For what purpose?
To show that this six, even though they are six in number, but they are referred to as one sadhanam alone. And there, how the other five expect shamaha was told, and the discussion on how the other five expect damaha was going on, and the four, how the other four depend on damaha was already discussed, and then we were discussing how titiksha expects damaha. So in point number 10 on page number 13, it is said that titiksha expects damaha. Why? Because without indriya dama, without the mastery over the organs, because of the force of the Vishaya Sanidhya, because of the force of constant contact or contact with the objects, Manaha Kshubhitam San, being disturbed, will not be able to accept the Shritoshanadi Dvandva. Yes, the mind is already disturbed because of this constant influx of the Vishayas. And therefore, any further or even a little bit of further Shitoshna will create so much of disturbance that there will be no acceptance of that. Therefore, Titiksha also expects Damaha. And thus, Damaha is supportive to all other five sadhanas. And then in the next 4 points, the Tippanikara shows how the other five expect Shraddha, Samadhanam in one point itself, that is described. So it is said that Samadhi means the five such as Samadhi expect Shraddha. Why? It is said that on the absence or when there is absence of intense Shraddha in the knowledgeable teacher, Vedanta, and the Shastra.
No. Vedanta Shastra.
Vedanta Shastra, yes. I was.
No, so it's okay. Shastra Padena Vedanta Vidna Segrahanam Syat.
This is fine. So, in Vedanta Shastra and in Sri Sadhguru, when there is no intense Shraddha, then there will be no activity in the Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. Why? Because there is no Shraddha in what the Shastra says, that there is Brahma, there is Moksha, Jnanena eva Moksha. All this there is no Shraddha. So in the Sadhya, Brahma Jnanam itself there is no Shraddha. So the Sadhanam means Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam also there will be no activity. And now say Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam itself is the Sadhyam for and for that the Sadhanam is this Samadhi Shatka Sampatti means Sadhana Chatushtaya. Therefore, even in sadhana chatushtaya sampatti also, there will be no activity for gaining them. Thus, Shamadaya expects Shraddha. Then, in the next it is said that Shamadaya expect Samadhanam, concentration. Because when there is concentration, the Tikakara writes that without Chitta Ekagrata, without the concentration of mind, one cannot accomplish Shamadaya. Why? Because when there is no concentration of mind, then one cannot grasp what is the nature of samadhi, what is the significance, what are the means, what are the obstacles, and that understanding is very important to gain samadhi. So that will not be there. Then in the next it is said samadhi expect uparati. And Tippanikara says that without the mind which is withdrawn from the objects, that samadhi cannot be accomplished. Because when the mind is having this constant influx of objects, then the mind cannot focus on developing certain sadhanas such as samadhi. So that cannot be accomplished. And then in the next point it is said that samadhi expect titiksha. And here the description is elaborate. It is said that if the mind which is having non-acceptance of tapatrayam, means three types of afflictions, adhyatmic, adhidaivika, adhibhautika. These three type of afflictions which are born of the experience of various objects such as cold, heat, hunger, thirst, attainment, non-attainment, etc. So if the mind is not having this acceptance of these things, of these experiences, then the shama of the mind means the mastery over the mind, mastery over the organs, shraddha in Guru Vedanta Vakya, concentration of the mind, and also uparati with regard to the objects which have been already attained and which are bhoga yogya, means which can be used, that could not be accomplished without titiksha, because the mind will always be engaged in to remove the shita, to remove the ushnata and all that things. So it will not be engaged in accomplishing the sadhanani. Therefore, titiksha is expected by the other five shamadaya. And then the Tippanikara, while giving the conclusion, gives the main point that in this manner, the samadhi, even though they are six, but coming together, they are called as one sadhana. And therefore, what we are saying is that there are four sadhana, means sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is proper. There are four sadhanam only, and not 9 sadhanam.
But I think you missed to
Yes,
highlight
because
that
of
first.
and why they are why even though they are six, they are considered one, because of mutual interdependence amongst themselves.
So just I note that Indriya Dhamma is the hetu for Vishaya Sanidhya in the 10th note. Antarene tu Indriya Dhammena. Without Indriya Dhamma, there will be constant Vishaya Sanidhya. So that hetu we should see. And here, that how Vishayanubhava will lead to Tapatraya. It will be like this. If Shita is there, then what? Adhyatmika tapa can happen or not?
Yes.
Too much cold is there, so cold will be there. Both are called cold only.
Yes.
Sneezing, etc. will be there. Just to distinguish between sneezing. And you did not get alaba, means loss, or not getting a comfortable or as a quiet place to stay. Adi Bhautika will be there. There, no?
Yes.
आपको तो अनुभव है. Happens or not? So either you can look upon the labha, the attainment of a place in such a in such a surrounding, with such a surrounding, adi bhautika. Similarly, you can be in that earthquake zone. No, lava is there. Possible, or not getting a place in a safe surrounding, or not getting a place in not getting residence in a place which is not uh, earthquake prone. Alaba, you can see, or lava, attaining a place in that earthquake zone. So that's why it can, all experience can lead to tapatra. Labha or alabha can lead to adhyatmika tapa, as I said, sneezing, etc. Labha, alabha can lead to adi bhautika, surrounding, the tapa from the surrounding factors, or labha, alabha can lead to adi devika, natural forces. You happen to be in the area where this earthquake are more likely, or this what is called volcano happens. It is possible. So that's why anubhava janita tapatraya tam na sahate iti asaham. Tapatrayam na sahate iti tapatraya saham kim chittam. So tapatraya saham will be which samasa? Upapada samasa. Chet chittam manasaha shamaha etc. will not be possible. Itam parasparapekshत्वात् shamadhi-षट्कमपि militva, having combined, having joined together, even though it is shamadhi-षट्कम, a group of 6, ekameva sadhanam iti uchyate. So shamadhi-षट्कमपि, even though it is a group of 6 starting with shama, still shamadhi-षट्कमपि sat militva ekameva sadhanam, it is one sadhana iti uchyate. Now we are going to the next one. Mumuksha nama swaswarupa bhuta brahma vaptihi
स्वस्वरूपभूत ब्रह्मावाप्तिः
anartha nivrittihi cha mokshaha
अनर्थनिवृत्तिः च मोक्षः
iti tasmin tivratare cha.
इति तस्मिन् तीव्रतरेच्छा.
So first he explains the definition of mumuksha. Then Tippanikara will explain the gradation of mumuksha. Simple meaning of mumuksha is what? Mokshe ichha mokshecha. Mokshe Vishaya Saptami. Moksha Vishaye ichha mumuksha. Or otherwise we say moktum ichha mumuksha. Much dhatu, san pratyaya, then tap, mumuksha. Much and moksha dhatu also sometimes they consider mumuksha. But here I think much will happen. Much, moksha. Alright. And what is this moksha? With regard to which there is a desire which is called mumuksha. So mumuksha is a desire for moksha. And to understand this mumuksha, which is desire for moksha, we need to understand what is moksha. And that is defined here. First, स्वस्वरूप भूत ब्रह्मा वाप्ति अनर्थ निवृत्ति च मोक्षः. Freedom is having two aspects. What are they? Swaswarupa Bhuta Brahma Vaptihi. Avaptihi means attainment of Brahma, attainment of limitless reality, which is Bhuta, which is in the form of one's own Swarupa, one's own nature. So the first aspect of moksha is attainment of Brahma in the form of one's own true nature. Means the first aspect is in the form of attainment of Brahma. And Brahma means limitless reality. But that limitless reality is not obtained as some object. To clarify that, it is said Swaswarupa Bhuta. Attainment of Brahma, which is there in the form of one's own true nature. Means attainment of Brahman as my true nature, that is moksha. Not as an object, but as my true nature. Alright. So now I am considering myself to be Kartru Swarupa, Bhoktru Swarupa, Sukhi Rupa, Dukhi Rupa, and in place of that Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva, Sukhitva, Dukhitva, now I consider Brahma as my Swarupa. Right now, if somebody, how are you? So, he said, chalta hai, bolte. Means, it's okay, sometimes not okay. In fact, now the word okay, no, means not okay. If somebody says, how are you? Okay, it means it's not okay. This is a very interesting thing. If person is really okay, you will say, yeah, wonderful, wow, fine. But when he says okay, we understand it's thoda gadbad hai. Okay. Okay, this is real okay. उसमें भी थोड़ा है किसी और कुछ कहना है. So स्वस्वरूप भूत ब्रह्मा वाप्ति ही. This is one aspect of moksha. And person says that what is there in Brahma? Says Brahma means to make it more attractive. We say Ananda Swarupa Brahma. Ananda Bhuta Brahma. So attainment of Brahma, which is Ananda, fullness, which is the nature of oneself. Means you are attaining Brahman not as some destination outside, but as your own true nature, and that Brahman is Ananda Swarupa. So otherwise we say moksha is Paramananda Prapti. This, what is said, Swarupa Bhuta Brahma Vapti, is sometimes paraphrased as Paramananda Prapti. So everybody wants Ananda. Therefore, moksha means what? Paramananda Prapti. Otherwise called Brahma Prapti as one's own nature. This is one aspect. Another aspect is what? Anartha Nivrutti cha, and removal, freedom from anartha, the undesirable. So the removal of anartha, the undesirable, is another aspect of moksha. So now we can say moksha is attainment of Brahma and removal of the undesirable. Now, if we ask, what is undesirable? Undesirable is dukkham. So one anartha, if we count, what is anartha? Anartha means what? Na arthyate prarthyate. Or if we take nanj as a virodhartha, means yat dvishyate, that which is hated is anartha. Artha means what? Arthyate prarthyate iti artha, that which is desirable. Anartha is what? Opposite to that. Not desired, means positively hated. That is anartha. What you do not want is anartha. What you don't want? You don't want dukkha. Then you do not want this sense of limitation. That is anartha. Parichinnatva buddhi, anartha. And this parichinnatva buddhi is there because of adhyasa. If you understand, then adhyasa becomes also anartha. Anartha hetu api anartha eva. Like some particular smell is undesirable. Then the source of that smell also is what? Undesirable only. Isn't it? And therefore, dukkha is anartha, parichinnatva buddhi is anartha, adhyasa is anartha. And adhyasa is because of ajnanam. So ajnana also become anartha finally. Alright, so anartha nivrittihi. Alright. So moksha has got two steps. Two aspects, not steps. One is Brahma Prapti and other is Anartha Nivritti. But it is not that these two things will happen one by one. They happen simultaneously. Even though moksha has got two aspects, but both the aspects happen simultaneously. How? Let us understand. A person has got ignorance of the rule, and because of that there is sarpadhyasaha, which is anartha because person is frightened. Now when rajju swarupa jnanam happens, then what happens? Rajju praptihi and sarpa anartha nivritti simultaneously happens. Sometimes some krama is shown, but really speaking, experientially speaking, simultaneously. So Rajju Jnanena Rajju Swarupa Praptihi and Sarpadi Anartha Nivritti. Adi Padena Sarpadi Bhaya Anartha Nivritti. Simultaneously happens. Similarly, by Brahma Jnanam, Brahmatma Jnanam, by the knowledge of Brahman as Atma, what happens? Brahma Prapti and Anartha Nivritti. Anartha Nivritti means what? Dukkha Nivritti, Parichinnatva Buddhi Nivritti, Adhyasa Nivritti. Happens. So simultaneously it happens. So by Brahma Jnanam, one, Brahma Jnanam, Brahma Prapti and Anartha Nivritti, both happens. Now question is that how can there be Prapti of Brahman which is Swarupa? स्वरूपस्य प्राप्तिः कथं भवेत्? यदि ब्रह्म स्वरूपं स्यात् तर्हि तस्य प्राप्तिः कथम्? Then we clarify that ब्रह्म विषयक आवरण निवृत्तिः एव ब्रह्म प्राप्तिः. The removal of the veiling factor regarding Brahma, which is my Swarupa, is figuratively called Brahma Prapti. So, Brahmanaha Brahma Vishayaka Avarana Nivrittihi eva Brahma Praptihi. Otherwise, we say Brahmanaha Anavrittihi eva Brahma Praptihi. Anavrittihi means what? Removal of cover. Discovery of Brahma is attainment of Brahma. And discovery, what we mean? Removal of the cover. Discovery, the removal of the cover on Brahman or of Brahman is called Brahma Prapti. Brahma Prapti iti upacharyate. Brahma Vishayaka Avarana Nivritti yadva Brahmanaha Anavrittihi alone is Anavrittihi alone is called Brahma Prapti. Avritti Shabda idhar. Avritti nahi. Avritti. That is a confusing word. Avritti means covering factor. Avritti is a reputation. Brahma's Avritti. Brahmana Avritti. Is it clear? And sometimes we present this idea of Brahma Prapti in a slightly different manner. We say that Brahma Vishayaka Aprapti Brahma Nivritti eva Brahma Prapti. Brahma Vishayaka Apraptatva Brahma or Aprapti Brahma or Apraptatva Brahma Nivritti eva Brahmana Prapti iti upacharyate. Means what? The removal of the false notion that Brahman is aprapta, that is figuratively called Brahma Prapti. And this we have seen in the case of 10th man. What is the attainment of 10th man? Both ways we can say. The removal of the veiling factor of this Dashama Vishayaka Avarana Nivrittihi eva Dashamasya Praptihi. Or Dashamaha Apraptaha iti Brahmasya Nivrittihi eva Dashamasya Praptihi. The removal of the notion that the 10th is not attained, that itself is called attainment of the 10th. Why is it called attainment of the 10th? Brahmanivritti is called the attainment. Why? Because when attainment of something happens, then the search for that thing stops. And when aprapti Brahma happens, then also search stops. So, Anveshana Prayasa Nivritti Samyat. So, when the Brahma goes, then also effort to find it stops. So, Anveshana Prayatna Nivritti Samyat Brahma Nivritti Aprapta Brahma Nivritti Apraptatva Brahma Nivritti eva Prapti iti uchyate. Gauna Prayogaha. And Gauna Prayoga is always based on some guna. What type of guna? Sadrisha guna. And what is your Sadrisha guna?
Anveshana Prayatna Nivritti Samyam.
Samyam, correct. That because of that, this Apraptatva Brahma Nivritti or Avarana Nivritti. In that Avarana Nivritti also same thing. When Avarana Nivritti happens, what happens? Anveshana Prayatna Nivritti happens. Therefore, it is called praptihi. Otherwise, we call praptasya praptihi. And praptasya praptihi jnanena eva bhavati. Because of praptasya apraptihi ajnanena bhavati. Yatah praptasya aprapti brahmaha ajnanena. Atah praptasya praptihi jnanena eva. Alright. So Swarupa Bhuta Brahma Vaptihi is moksha. And as we have said that somebody said, I am not interested in Brahman, then we have to tell them, see, Brahma means Ananda. So if somebody said, I am not interested in Brahma, then you are saying that I am not interested in Ananda. And if you are not interested in Ananda means samsara, you are okay with that. Then if you say I am okay with samsara, then we have nothing to say. Like doctor is seeing that this person who has come has some problem. But he said, no, I don't have any problem. I am okay. Then what can doctor do? जबरदस्ती तो नहीं कर सकता है ना. Okay. If you have problem, मेरा अगर खुला है. What else can he do? So many times, people, when they have problem and they don't admit or they don't find the problem, they don't get convinced about the problem, then what? Doctor cannot do anything. Similarly, if a person says, I am okay, Swamiji, then what? We cannot say. I remember one person, he said, I am not finding any this bondage itself. I gave the definition of bondage in various ways. He said, all these things are not there. Only one, sometimes we feel that something something else I have to do. That much only I find bondage. Otherwise, all this sense of limitation I don't feel. Really speaking, if you ask people, what is your problem? Nobody will list sense of limitation. We unko jabardasti. One Vedanta teacher, new Vedanta teacher, he was telling, Swami, यहाँ किसी को बंधन लगता ही नहीं है. तो मोक्ष की बात कैसे करो? It looks like that sometimes Vedanta teacher to some people may look like that. He is creating problem and then giving solution. So he is giving the solution for the problem which we are not finding. It happens because of our ability to see through. We may think that the problem which Vedanta teacher is telling is not there. Therefore, we generally connect with the problems people are feeling. We go from that level. Oh, see, some Puja Swamiji, I think in one of the videos you must have heard. If somebody says that I am okay, why should I study Vedanta? Have you read this? Have you seen that? That is okay, you need not. Then he said, you keep conversation going. Then person will come around, will say, my wife is not okay, job is not okay. Then you say, okay, you are feeling uncomfortable about it. Therefore, you need Vedanta. And thus, Ananda Prapti is moksha. So, Swaswarupa Bhuta Brahma Vaptihi moksha. And other one is what? Anartha Nivrittihi. The removal of anartha, the undesirable. And anartha nivritti happens by knowledge. Why? Because anartha is born of ignorance and ignorance born contribution. This is called Purushartha Viveka. Purushartha Viveka means I clearly see that what is my problem and what can be the solution. So, anartha nivritti, removal of the undesirable, is moksha. Moksha. Iti. Tasmin means etadrishe mokshe or tadrishe mokshe. Moksha iti tasmin means that type of moksha which has been described. Tivra tarecha, very intense desire. So very intense desire in the moksha, which is in the form of the attainment of Brahma, which is in the form of my own true nature, and also the removal of the undesirable. This anartha is also presented in the form of bondage. And Puja Swami used to say nicely, what is bondage? Bondage is something which anartha, which you don't want. Anything which you don't want but you find yourself with, that is bondage. And so anartha, bandha nivritti is moksha. Iti, and in that moksha, tivra tarecha. And when he uses the word tivra tarecha, means intense desire, it implies what? There must be tivra icha, manda icha. And there can be manda icha, tivra tarecha. So that gradation in the mumuksha is possible. That part is explained by the Tippani. The tivra tarecha adjective gives the scope for the gradation. It suggests the scope for gradation. Like we say, this clock is more expensive. Means there is a clock which is less expensive. We say this is stronger. It means there is something strong, there is weak. So that he discusses in the first Tippani. Yatha bubukshitasya ananyachittataya अन्नपानादि संपिबादेशा यथा अग्निना दग्धस्य तच्छान्त्यर्थं जलाशयान्वेषणम् एवं तापत्रय परिवेष्टितस्य ततः मुमुक्षायाम् अनन्यचित्ततया तदैकाग्र्यम् एव तत्र तीव्रता. What is the तीव्रता, intensity of this mumuksha? He explains with the help of two examples. The first example, let us see without this outside this vakya. Today morning 7 o'clock you had a breakfast. Then 1 o'clock. Will you have some hunger or not? So desire for food is there. But if some work is there, then you say, okay, let me finish. So icha is there, but it is not tivra, it is manda. Suppose you did not have breakfast. Then what? Tivra icha will be there. And by chance, last night itself you were traveling and you don't eat outside. And when you reach the place, food was not available. Last night also you did not have. Then what type of icha? Tivra tarecha. Same. For same lunch, manda icha can be there. Sometime 9 o'clock also you had something. So some लोगों की गाड़ी कब some लोगों की meals हो ना चलती ही रहती है. So he will have still desire. Because the time no, वो बेल बजता है तो ये बेल भी appetizer का काम करती है. So करता है. So it does. But it will be what? Manda icha. So चलो भाई let us eat, otherwise afterwards it will not be available. जाके खा लो कुछ. And when we are going, sometimes we feel, oh, today I will eat only one roti. But when we go there, full meal happens somehow. It depends upon the meal. So now you can understand manda icha, tivra icha, and tivra tarecha. So here, of course, he is telling about tivra icha only. So he says, yatha bubhukshitasya. for a person who is hungry. Bubukshita means one was got bubuksha. Bubukshitasya. That is a very popular saying. Bubukshitam, bubukshito, bubukshita kim na karoti papam. Have you heard this? Bubukshitaha kim na karoti papam. Oh, भूखा आदमी क्या नहीं करता? Okay, बुभुक्षितः बुभुक्षितस्य अनन्यचित्ततया, being the one whose mind is not occupied anywhere else. We are talking about that person who did not have anything at night, breakfast, nothing was there, and that person. And if you're still not feeling, let him starve for 2-3 days more. That Ananya Chittataya. Ananya Chittaha, Chittasya Bhavaha Ananya Chittata. And Ananya Chitta means what? Anyasmid means Bhojanati na vidyate chittam yasya. That is called Ananya Chitta. One whose mind is not anywhere else. So being the one whose mind is not anywhere else. That type of bubukshita. For a hungry person, being the one whose mind is not anywhere else, because of that what happens? Anna panadi sampipa daisha. Means his mind is not going anywhere else. Except food is not going anywhere else. So that person will have the desire for food. Sampipa daisha. Sampadaitum ichha sampipa daisha. The desire to acquire anna, food, pana, water, vessel, and sometimes a place. Or sometimes the anna pana the sadhanam. हमको भी एक पास मिल जाए, वो ऋषि के विश्व वगैरह में वो बोलते हैं चिट्ठी बोलते हैं, हाँ something. So something chitti or something that you get it, so that you can get food. So anna panadi sampadinai, sampipadesha. So desire for attaining the food for a person with this state of the mind. What type of state of mind? Which is not going elsewhere. So aneka chittataya can be hetu or as a lakshana. So desire for attaining food, drink, etc. characterized by being the one whose mind is not going elsewhere. Whose desire? Bubukshitasya. Desire of a hungry person to attain food, which is characterized by the exclusive concentration of the mind on food, or the concentration of the mind which is not going elsewhere. Means how intense desire, the thing, whatever question you ask, he will give the answer roti only. ये रास्ता कहाँ से जाता है, ये रास्ता कहाँ जाता है, roti. Nothing else comes. We might have experienced this. Some thought is very predominantly moving in the mind, then even sometimes comes to our word, through our tongue, that word will come. You are waiting for someone, Devadatta, and Yagdadatta comes. So still you say Devadatta. That person is Yagdadatta, but you are waiting for Devadatta. So it happens. So person, Anna Sampipadesha, how strong it would be. This is one example. For mumuksha, means how intense desire a person will have when he has not eaten for so many days. The bubukshita, how strong desire that person will have for food. Even if somebody says, it will cost 1,000 rupees. He has not eaten for 3 days. And 1,000 rupees. And if the person has 1,000 rupees, will he give or not? Give. That is how yatra people, the tourist spot, they earn money. पूरा भाव बहुत बढ़ा देते हैं. That's what one person said. One emperor was very proud of his empire. Then one Mahatma comes and tells him. He said, suppose you are traveling and you are in the desert land. Nobody is there with you. And you are very thirsty. And that time, some half a bottle of water somebody has. That also not very clean. But you are so thirsty. And at that time, you are about to die. If you are feeling that if you don't take water now, you will die. At that time, this half a bottle water. For that person said, you have to give me your empire. Will you give or not? He said, yes, I will give. Otherwise, I will die. So the value of your empire is what? Half bottle of water. I really like that example. This is what it is. So, how intense desire is there? Okay, this one. Second is Yatha Agnina Dagdasya Tachantyartham Jalashayanveshanam. So he gives two examples. One to show this positive gain. He wants to eat food. Second is what he wants to get rid of problems. That's what he says. Yatha, just as Agnina Dagdasya. A person who is getting burnt, means his beard or something has caught fire, or his jata has got caught fire. Okay. Tat Shanti Artham, for putting out that fire. Tat means Agni. For putting that out, putting out that fire, Jalashayan Veshanam, searching for Jalashaya, a pond. Jalashaya stands for any source of water. How intensely he will be running. At that time somebody says, अभी तो राहु काल चलता है, जाना नहीं. यमगंड काल is there, राहु काल is there, today अष्टमी is there. कोई बात नहीं. Nothing. पर आपने थोड़ा ड्रेसअप भी नहीं किया है. थोड़ा ये खाली टी शर्ट पहना है आपने, शर्ट भी नहीं पहना. छोड़ो यार. So how that Chanti Artham Jalashayanveshanam. In Shastra they give this example. Dagdash Shirovat or Dagdash Shira or Pradipta Shira. Another word used, they use Pradipta Shira. Pradipta Shirovat. Yatha Pradipta Shiraha. Shiraha will become. Pradipta Shiraha. Jalashayam Prati Dhavati. Tatha Mumukshuhu Dana Srotam Prati Gurum Prati Shastram Prati Dhavayat. That is here. Evam. Similarly, Sansara Tapatraya Pariveshtitasya Purushasya. A person who is surrounded by threefold affliction of samsara, bondage. Tataha mumukshayam. Tata means tasmat tapatrayat. Mumukshayam. When there is a desire to be free from that, Tata refers to tapatrayat. Tapatrayat muktum ichchayam. Ananya chittataya, being the one whose mind is not going elsewhere. Tadaikagryam, concentration on that mumuksha. Mumuksha, which implies moksha. Concentration on fulfilling the desire for moksha. That tadaikagryam eva, that concentration, complete attention alone is tatra. Tatra means mumukshayam. With reference to mumuksha, tivrata. Tivrata means intensity. So he says what? a person who is afflicted by samsara tapatraya, and therefore there is a desire to be free from that tapatraya, and then ekagryam is there. Full concentration is there in this mumuksha, being the one whose mind doesn't go elsewhere. That concentration, full concentration with regard to mumuksha, means with regard to the fulfillment of mumuksha, is called tivrata. So mumuksha is considered to be tivrata, tivra or tivra, then when there is ananya chittata, means there is no mind is not going anywhere else. There is focus only on that. So tivrata of mumuksha is in the form of full concentration on the fulfillment of mumuksha, characterized by the mind not going anywhere else. So the mind is not going anywhere else, and the mind is remaining only on mumuksha. That is called tivra mumuksha. Why these two are told? Because sometimes ananya chittata may be understood as what? Mind is not going elsewhere. Means what? He is having drug, etc. So mind is not going anywhere else. That is not enough. स्वामी जी मेरा मन कहीं भी नहीं जाता है, बस मैं पीके में पड़ा रहता हूँ. उनका भी अनन्य चित्त तो हुई ना. That is not enough. That ananya chittata, along with that, we should be tadaikagryam, positively. Then focus is there on that. And to show that that focus is exclusive, it is said ananya chittataya. So focusing on mumuksha in exclusion of everything else, that is called tivra mumuksha, or it is the intensity of mumuksha. So it means that we can measure our mumuksha by these two things. Does mind go elsewhere? Does mind keep on focusing on that? To what extent? To that extent there is tivrata. Mind goes elsewhere, oh ye bhi chahiye, wo bhi kar lenge. That also will do, that also will do. Then it means that moksha ichha is not tivra. And to what extent mind remains focused on that? That shows the tivrata. So constant focus on the desire and fulfillment of moksha, characterized by the absence of the mind going to anything else, is tivrata of mumuksha. Here one thing we note, we do talk about intense desire for moksha. And generally, intense desire is characterized by anxiety. Even these two examples are given. What type of picture comes to your mind? You say relax and one is very hungry and relaxed. No? He is asking, where is Daddy? Where is Daddy? Where is Daddy? Isn't it? And this Pradipta Shiraha, आराम से बस जाता हूँ बस जलाशय में. ऐसा नहीं. So you generally by these two examples we get the idea of anxiety. But yes, and initially anxiety is there, it is understandable. In fact, it can be considered a good sign initially for few days. But one should settle, because intensity of desire for moksha is a good quality. But this undesired side effect in the form of anxiety is an obstacle. So intensive desire is required, but general side effect of anxiety is an obstacle. So कभी कभी होता है ना कि कोई medicine, so it will have side effect. So what you have to do? We have to give another medicine for for removing that side effect. They do it now. That vitamin will go away by this antibiotics, so they give vitamins also along with antibiotics. So similarly, along with mumuksha, we need to have bhakti in Ishvara. Shraddha bhakti in Ishvara. Shraddha bhakti in Guru, which will take care of my anxiety. So I require Tivra Mumuksha, but to avoid the side effect, what is required? Shraddha, Bhakti in Ishvara, in Guru. Yes, I want moksha and moksha only, nothing else I am interested. But I need not be anxious about it. Bhagwan's grace is there, Guru's grace is there, Guru is available, so I need not be anxious. So my mumuksha will keep me focused on the pursuit. And my Shraddha, Bhakti in Guru and Ishvara will keep me relaxed. And therefore we'll have a holy combination of this sincerity, focused approach with relaxation. That is what is required. Sincere approach, sincerity will come because of mumuksha, tivra mumuksha. And relaxation will come because of surrender or bhakti to Ishvara and Guru. Therefore, we require both. We require tivra mumuksha without side effect. We require both tivra mumuksha and relaxation. And they look opposite. And we handle it by bringing some extra factor. Like with antibiotics, we give some vitamin also. So we another tablet we require. Alright, this is by the way, but it is useful, so I am telling here. Tatta tivrata. Now, he is showing that manda mumuksha is also useful. Even though tivra mumuksha alone will become the means to take the person to shravanadi, but manda mumuksha also is required. That also should be acquired. That part we will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri